Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to our live presentation of the community space. Thanks everyone for joining us today. It's early evening here in Spain, and I'm super glad to be joined by some great people from Kaleidos and the Pempo team. So I'll first go and introduce them. Okay, I'll just give a short intro on what we're going to do today, and then we hope to have a very interesting debate on our community space, what we plan to do with that, what's already happening, what you would expect from it. So myself, I'm Pablo Redmuzquez. I'm from the community team. You've probably seen me already in other live streams, as well as Eva. Hello, Eva,
Hello, hello everyone.
developer at the Pimpo team. She actually gave an excellent live stream on how to develop a designer's tool. I think that's a month ago or something like that, using Clojure and all that. So you should follow her live streams on that. Next, let's go with Andy.
Hi.
Andy, hello. Is a designer at Pempot. I think this is your first live stream, Andy,
Yeah, I
for
think
Pempot.
so. I will have
Yeah.
remembered, right? Yeah.
You should remember, yeah, if it's the first, the
Yeah.
second, or the nth. And finally, we have Carol. Hi, Carol,
Hello.
from the community team. Carol, if you might have received some emails saying Carol from Pempot, right? She is that Carol.
Yes, me.
So you already sort of know everyone here because either we have been uh, live streaming some stuff, or sending some emails, or replying to some community threads actually, or tweeting about Pempot. Um, so the four of us are here to present on behalf of the weather team, new community space, or the start of this community space. I'm going to give a quick intro on why we did that. So this community space, we built that on top of Discourse, an open source new era forum software, which is great, works fine, particularly on mobile, which I think is critical these days. And with the help of them, we were able to deploy sort of fine-tuned discourse theme that would suit our wider community. And the community here that we are trying to build is one that we have this full duplex communication. So the core Pempo team is exposed every day to what the community has to say about the product, the plans, the roadmap, any needs, any contributions, but also the community, the wider community, knows what the Pempo team is thinking about. Their internal struggles, for some features or some ideas. We might make mistakes. We will make mistakes, and we're fine making those in the open, in the public. So I think this is important to have a healthy relationship across the community, and the Pempo team is just one item, one element of such community, right? So we want to make sure that we build a truly honest community, no bullshit community, an inclusive and diverse community around design, open source, and development too. So code and design, and what is the role of open source around that? Right? But of course, focused on our tool Pempot. So whether you know about Pempot, or this is the first time, or perhaps you're watching this video in the future, having been welcomed by the community, I hope you have a great experience, you feel welcome, and you enjoy not only the community, but this particular live stream. So why not start with some questions that people might have around what is this all about? And I think I would like to start with you, Carol. You are top ranked in the community space post author for a reason, for many reasons. But of course, you were behind this structure, and what to expect from this space. So why don't you talk talk about that, what to expect, where to find stuff, and all that.
Yeah, of course. So this community space, as you already say, it's a space for all roles, all kind of knowledge, all people who wants to join, who needs help. So it's a space for all. We all want to be a space of a conversation, a space for sharing knowledge, a space for helping each other. We understand the community as part of our team and our team part of the community. So we want this space to be the integration between both, where we can share from the team to the community to the community to the team and have these conversations. Until now, we had these conversations, but they were kind of with individuals or spread around, or some in GitHub, some in other places, some in our social medias. So we want to try to bring all this together and to have all these conversations and to be really accessible for all, open to for all, and really meaningful to everybody who join us there. So let me show a bit of our community. Uh, So as you can see, it's a really simple space that we design. We structure in a way that hopefully it's easier for everybody to find whatever you want. Of course, you always have the share that you can just type something and find all the posts, or at least the main posts about that. But we try to categorize in a way that is easier to find and easier to understand where to find things or where to ask for things. So we had, I will explain a little bit the categories that we have. We have help Pempot, help to improve Pempot. This is a place where you share your story, you share your pains, you share your challenge with Pempot, and to help us to build a better product for you and for the community. So here we want to hear what you are facing, what you will expecting, what you want in kind of a future of Pempot. So here is a place to improve it. Then the second category, this category moves depends on what happening. So maybe you're getting in is not the same view, so don't worry. So a second is here in the list now is ask the community. Ask the community is really what the title says, to place where you ask the community. So it's a place for asking help. Do you need any help? Do you not understand something about the flow or the interface of Pempot? Here's the place. We don't see any question as a bad question. Every question can help. Maybe if you think it's a too bad question, maybe a lot of people are thinking having the same issue, and you can have a lot of people. So every question here is acceptable. We want to help everybody here, no matter what. The third category I have here today is contribution. Contribution is where we talk about our contributions. So as an open source software, you have many ways of contributing, from code to language to template libraries. And here where we can talk about it. You can share, this is the template that I built here. Here's the link for the template, or you can come here and say, oh, I would like to see if you want to, anyone want to help me to translate for this language that I speak, so on. So here's the place to talk about that. Inside Pempot, it's a bit more about the team sharing, kind of the insights that we have. So from uh, uh, thoughts that we have about general things about around Pempot, but also some insights, the things that we are developing, some what we think about the interface, what we're thinking about components. So we want to share a bit these thoughts and get feedback from you guys also. Event announcements. Of course, we're going to share events and announcements there, but we also want you to share your events here. So if you are part of our community and is going to an event you think is interesting for the whole community, please share here. We want to see all the events going all around the world, and it may not be easy for us as a Pempot team go, but maybe someone in your city also can go. You can meet there and start this like more offline community also. So here's place also for you to share your events. Made with Pempot is a place where you share what you're most proud of what you did with Pempot. So if you have this project that you are super proud of, you want to share it with community, you want to talk about it, you want to tell a bit of the story, how you made it, here's the place. If you see now, we have a meme category, so you can also have a look and have some fun with our meme post there. Meme post.
Mhm.
Troubleshooting, it's a bit for any troubles that people are having with our on-premise solution. So here is the place to ask if you have any issue, any trouble with launching your own premise. You can ask help here. And as Pempot is an international community, we know we are all around the world, and not everybody is feel as comfortable to talk in English as they can talk in their language. We have Pempot in your language. Right now, we have two subcategories. We have Spanish and Portuguese because these are the this is the language that we support as a team. Our team mostly is based in Spain, so we all speak Spanish, but also I do speak Portuguese, so I will be supporting the Portuguese speakers there. But if you speak any other language, you're more than welcome to share your posts in your own language, and hopefully someone else in the community can support to help you in your language. This is just the beginning. We know as the community evolve, we're gonna evolve. Our discourse is gonna evolve. So we know this is all a work together. So for now, it's this look.
That's great. Thank you very much, Carol. I have to say my favorite category so far is inside Pempod, I think, particularly the beginning, because it's like bringing back the blog style reflections, like thoughts, long-winded thoughts, and being able to have a conversation about them.
Mhm.
So you're able to keep them shorter and have all the benefit of a blog post in terms of the way you structure some ideas, but then having some conversations. So that's my favorite so far. But probably will say events and announcements should become my favorite in the midterm.
For me, I think it's made with Pembot because it's really fun, and you can see what people do with our tool, and it's great to see what everything is everybody is doing. I think it's great.
If I have to choose, I would say the Portuguese subcategory because I really want to
Mm.
support Brazilian
Mhm.
users as I'm Brazilian myself. So go Brazil.
Okay, I'm gonna pick the events and announcements because if this category has moment, is that we have a lot of things to announce. I hope
Yeah.
yeah, I hope that this happen a lot.
All right. So before we move on to, I have another question. Um, Carol, I asked, so for the people watching now, I asked three of them to share like one highlight post, one thread that they liked, right? And they just sent me some. What was yours? And I'll just share it with the people here watching. What was yours? Can you send me again?
My post is about the translations.
Right. Let me see. On translations. Okay. So let me see. Yeah, here I think. What was about the help us with translations? This one.
Yes,
This one's yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. This was actually Eva participated here, and what I liked about this is how quick
Mhm.
I think we got a new French contributor. So that was great. And actually, after this, I have to say,
Mhm.
I went to. I don't know if Eva, if you saw this, but I went to the WebLate uh, Pempot
Mhm.
project. And just a week after this, we went from 70% of French translation to like close to 80. So
Wow, I didn't
it
check.
yeah,
It's
or
amazing.
70 something, but it was significant. It was not like just 1%.
Mm.
So thank you, everyone here.
And a few
Okay.
days after that, another guy just told us that he wanted to translate to Catalan, also in the same
Joseph.
thread.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joseph, I talked to him in one of the interviews we're doing with the community, and I just said to him, "Oh, that's a way of contributing." So he went and after the interview to the community say, "Hey, I want Catalan." So that was
Wow,
my favorite
nice.
part. It's kind of like, yeah, we are like having many ways of like talking with the community, and all it kind of finds itself in the discourse right now.
Okay. Before we move on, we're starting to have some questions. I think we're going to leave them for the second part. Okay. I'm seeing very quick questions already, so I'm tempting to just go and pick them. But I think we're going to be like disciplined, and we're going to just wait. But it'll be over soon, and would ask. We will go and answer your questions. So next, I would like to ask Andy actually. What would you? Andy is not only a designer but also product owner at Penpot. So he might have a very strong opinion on what would you love to happen with this community, within this community as a product owner and designer at Penpot.
Well, this is a tough one. Yeah, I have a strong opinion, but also a very biased one because of my role of mainly designer, because of being designer. I would like a lot of things to happen thanks to this community, maybe too many, but the one that I really love the most is that this community will help more designers to contribute, to participate in open source. I think we have a chance here. When I remember back in time when we started working, well, developing Penpot, starting with this, for us it was like a principle for us to maintain constant communication with our users. We talking about a continuous conversation with our users. This was for a very simple reason, which applies to most of the products, most of the projects in the digital world, which is that we cannot allow. We just don't do bad UX. We need to talk to the users all the time, and that meant doing in a continuous way, the usual practice in UX. I mean, I'm talking about interviews, I'm talking about usability testings, I'm talking about direct feedback, etc., etc. So yeah, we did that. But when we think in the nature of this project, the nature of Penpot, if you think in the main difference between Penpot and its competitors, and by competitors I mean the other collaborative design tools meant for designing user interfaces, the main difference is that Penpot is open source, and this changed the rules. It changed the rules of engagement with your users. This changed the rules of the relationship, and we wanted to be not only aware of that, but to act in consequence with this fact. So we wanted our users not only to listen to them, but we wanted them to participate in the project. We wanted them to contribute. We wanted them to bring to us their own ideas, but also their own to work directly in the project, like in the open source way. So we have done what every other open source project does. We have an open the project at GitHub with the code publisher with an open documentation. We encourage the people to raise bugs, etc., everything. And in fact, the people is already contributing to the product and is bringing us a lot of happiness. That it's been such a ride. But, and here's the but, the thing is that we realized that we have a really strong bias in this conversation, which is the thing that most of the people that are contributing have a very strong technical background, and the other people, which we know that are using Penpot, and I'm talking about designers, stakeholders, and et cetera, managers, for instance, well, are not participating on the open source game. And we really want to change that. We really want to break this barrier, and we really want to bring those people as well at the open source game. And they are not participating when I think about that, not only because they can't, because everyone can have a GitHub account. It's free. You can do whatever the rest of the people does, but well, GitHub is a very technical place.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's too technical, and you can, but you are not welcome to participate as a person that does not understand not only code but the mental models of how you participate in open source, the methods of governance, the pull requests, the whatever you can imagine. So the thing is that we have that like this survival bias image, the typical one, right? The airplane with the red dots. So we thought that we have a lot of information, but this information were from a very specific group of people. And yeah, in summary, I really expect that this community space help us to break that, because this is one of the biggest challenges in Penpot, to bring open source designers not only to participate in Penpot, but to participate in the open source world. And I expect personally that this community play a very, like a major role in breaking this barrier for these people to participate. So I don't know if I explained myself, but
I think you did. Here. Any comments on that, Eva, Carol?
Well, I totally agree with him. We want all the designers to participate in our product, so they are more than welcome here in our community. So we are waiting for you.
Yeah, I think that was the I guess the biggest key there when we were developing the structure of the community in Discourse. It was to be as most friendly possible for all the users, all the kind of different people who want to join. That's one of the reasons we move out from GitHub. That would be the most typical for open source software to be. Because we wanted to break kind of this mental barrier that has there. When you get in our community, it's super colorful, it's super welcoming. We hope all clear when where how can you write, where you can write the stuff. So we hope that this at least this mental barrier that was like, oh, but I don't know code, I don't know GitHub. What is this? We can break with this new community.
Yes, and I think you're absolutely right, Andy, when you say that we have those biases, this survival bias, that we get feedback from the ones used to give feedback, perhaps, or contribute, which is developers, not so much designers. My hypothesis here is that if we make that easy for designers, it will happen. Like there's another bias out there. I think a lot of people have experienced that designers are selfish creatures that won't contribute or collaborate, right? I think they might do it in different ways, or they might do it in different ways because they've only known such ways. But I'm pretty confident that they're not just a different type of breed, you know, that given the motivation and the tools, they will rally towards helping not only Penpot, you know, but all the tools. Now, the fact that there was no such tool as Penpot might have been, in practical terms, making this difficult. But we'll see. But I'm very excited about this. So I do hope you're right, Andy, and we see hybrid community come come about, particularly the designers space. So what was your highlighted thread?
Yeah, I choose the one about community. Was a bit meta. It's called
Okay, yeah,
Not All
I have it
Communities
here.
Are Creative Equal.
Yeah, I think this was so thank you, Andy, for choosing this one.
You're welcome.
Now I wrote this as a sort of a blog post just to make sure that yeah, Jan Dietrich actually helped here a lot, mentioning Godot and Unity and Blender and Wikipedia. I think it's important that people realize these days that not all communities are created equal. Like there are healthy, unequal stance, communities, and then with a capital C, and then you have communities labeled that way, but are just users working for free, right? For a closed source proprietary platform. So it was a bit of a rant here, but I hope these conversations keeps being it's active, and we have good examples of good communities to rely on, but also bad examples and also exciting examples, because there are some of them out there
And
too.
there is also a very interesting reply of Jan Dietrich's talking about he talked about the cautionary tale about how a community can die of success. I think the example was about he was talking about
The
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia, here, yeah.
Extremely interesting.
It was. All right. Okay, so let's move on. We have one more question. This is for Eva, of course. And this is, I would like to ask Eva, so she can share this with the audience. How do you manage contributions in PenPod?
Well, this community allow us to have a direct line communication between the team and the users, but also between users themselves without our interaction. So that's very important for us. From the part of the PenPod team, we pay close attention to three main groups of feedback. The first one would be bugs, because they help us to debug our tool, and this is very important because sometimes books are very difficult to get to catch, because sometimes you have to do some actions in a way in a row, and this is very, very difficult for us during our debug time to reach them. So it's very helpful if the users give us this feedback. The second one will be when people ask for new features, because sometimes there are things that we didn't imagine even, or maybe it's something that we are working on and they gave us a new idea, so it's great. And furthermore, this help to prioritize our backlog. So if some people is asking for 2-3 things, this increased its importance in our backlog, so we can respond to the community in that way. Unfortunately, we cannot do everything as fast as we want, so some of these features go very down in our backlog, but we read them, each of them, very carefully. The last part of these three main task in the community is contributions. As I don't know, Carol or Andy just said, contributions are the main part of this project. Helping with templates not only help us as the team, but also helps the community, give them more tools to work with PenPod, and that's great. And translation also allows this tool to reach every corner of the earth, because it can be translated to any language if you help us. So I think those are the most important areas in the community. Clara, our coworker Clara, a few months ago just talked about this more in deep in her FOSDEM talk. So I think we are gonna put the link in chat so you can check it if you want more information about how we get the feedback and work with it, and how we manage this feedback in the Pimpot. Well, in the other hand, for me, the most exciting part in this community is to show everybody what we are doing right now, as what are we developing or what are we designing, and that's very exciting for me because I can show you small sneak peeks of what are the most recent features that is gonna be released in the next one, in the next release. I mean, and it's very interesting how the community reacts to that sneak peeks. Our co-worker Alonso is a developer at Pimpop 2. He just posted a thread about the layout feature. This layout is going to be hype, a huge point in our background, and the comments are at that post are so great because people is so interested in that post, in that new feature. Everybody has asked for it, and you can see how it is going. It's not ready. It's gonna be ready in a few months, but we are working on it. So if you are part of the Pimpot team, you can ask for features, you can ask for help, but also you can see what is coming. So I think it's very interesting.
Yes to that. Any thoughts on that, Carol?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Eva is saying. It's sometimes maybe someone are gonna think, why are you gonna post? Like, oh, it's. I bet they get 100 other ask every single day. Everybody's talking about, but sometimes your push is the last push. We just had this week that we were talking about one specific thing in the community, and then the product said, yeah, we've been talking, thinking about this for a while, and then it just ended up there, the conversation. Suddenly we got one post from the community, and then we were like, okay, let's create a user story, let's put in our backlog, because
Mhm.
yeah, this is actually super interesting for us. So it was kind of like the last push that someone gave to us to actually put this in our backlog.
Mhm.
So it's, of course, we got many requests, and many we want to do all, but we have to prioritize. But sometimes it's important us to know what to prioritize, and it's important to hear your voice for that.
Yeah. Well, prioritizing it's obviously one of the it's part of the job,
Yeah.
especially my job as product owner.
It is.
It's the P in product owner is
Yeah,
Prioritize.
prioritization owner.
that's the P. And this P sometimes break my heart because, like Eva says, um, there are a lot of things that are suggested by the community that we don't do just because we need to prioritize others. And yeah, it sometimes it breaks my heart to delay such good initiatives, such good suggestions. And yeah, I have to remind myself that part of the job is to say no to things that you also want to do, to say no to things that you don't want to do. That this part is easy, but the other part
Not yet.
is a bit more tricky. Uh, but we do not only do that. We also have a lot of examples of suggestion that has been actually implemented. I remember,
Mhm.
for instance, the RTL right to left support that which was highly requested like 2 months after our launch, and yeah, we identified that we have an opportunity there, that we have a duty to have support for non-Western languages, and yeah, we did it. And this is just one example, one of their samples. Did I hear auto layout, for instance?
Exactly.
This is
Ooh, it's
this is
coming
related
out.
to the other their topic. We also have some gifts at the community with our advances at some of our upcoming features.
Mhm.
I think absolutely. I think Carol, when you were referring to that last push of Was it the post about embedded interactive prototype? Yeah. I saw that. Wouldn't it be cool to have an easy to embed interactive prototype, coming from Tempo, but just deploy it like anywhere? Even for explainer videos, I think we thought about that. Or yeah, that would be very cool.
Yes.
So Andy, you have to hide, in like so that you don't get too much pressure from the community. Now they know that you are there, like deciding the fate
Not
of
only me, not only me.
some
That would be a
features.
lie. Yeah.
He's the one to push.
I facilitate. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so Eva, I think I need your highlighted post so
Yeah,
far.
I thought that thoughts on Bedbot user interface is my favorite, and this is wrote by Juan,
Yeah,
and he was talking about the interface that we want to change. We want to add the dark mode because everybody is asking for it. So he is designing this user story. So he asked the community what they thought about this, and I think it's great what the community yes respond how they answer the question. They give another examples of their own user interface in other products, how they change this user interface to fix in what they need. So they gave us examples, and I think it's a great example of what we want in the community. And we are
yeah.
going to give sneak peeks of designing to not only development during development, and I think it's great.
I think actually Mary here said something. Well, like when people say UI is nice and very clean for me, this thing I would like to integrate space for community files. I think we will have some great news soon, right? Um, I think this is something we're working on. So even if it's not necessarily related to Juan's question,
Mhm.
there was an interesting conversation going on. All right. So we are now wrapping up our sort of first segment. Let me just tell that, yeah, of course, you can go to community.penpod.app, just register. You can use one of the the same social logins that Penpod supports. So, Google, GitHub, GitLab, or just email, traditional email registration. Any activity is fine. Even if you just go read and click and read, that's fine. Sorry. So you can like, you can share, you can post, you can reply, you can whatever. It's just make yourself comfortable, like you are at home. It's a nice, welcoming community. It's run by people like you, and be kind. Be kind to each other. We will be kind in return,
Yes.
always. Um, so yeah, that would be like and also all backgrounds are welcome, particularly with the challenge that we have, where we have to be very explicit about this, both developers and designers. You cannot go. This doesn't work if one half, of the community stands away. So I also would like to share my take on one thread that I liked a lot. It's the one about Software Force Federation research, basically for federation. So Dakar here, bonjour, and then he goes on to comment on Fort French and what they're doing. Basically, this was a post trying to help open source products and any project anyway to feel free of this need to just go on GitHub, right? To just go to any Git repository and have synced uh, triggers and actions and all that across different forges, so to speak, right? So I think this is cool. They're using Pempot to do the UX for their project. Like they're building this platform and they're using Pempot to do that. So it's just a good use case. But the project itself actually is quite exciting. So I like this, the conversation and all that. All right. So I think it's now time for questions that we might have collected through these live segments. Yeah, questions and answer time. So we'll see what we've got. Let me just choose who should answer this, everyone. So here, so Zuki Zuk Akatowo, thank you. He says, hi, since Pempot exports to SVG, is it possible to sync it with a source control manager like GitLab? I don't know. Eva, do you want to go with this one?
Well, I'm not sure if I can answer this question either. I don't know. I'm sorry. I
No,
really don't
I
know.
think the answer right now is no.
I don't think
But
so.
it's true that I think it's one of our uh, ideas for the future, right? That we have SVG, so why not sync that to any file storage?
Hmm.
And what is an SCM but a very smart file storage? So I think
Yeah.
right now that doesn't happen, but there's
Hmm.
nothing preventing us from doing so. So Zuki, you could actually help us achieve that sooner rather than later if you're interested in doing this. And anyone can jump in and just comment. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
well,
go with
this is a
yeah.
typical case in which there is something that we definitely want to do, but
Definitely
we
want to do.
actually didn't do yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, if one person from the community will push us, will push this and help us to implement it, it will be faster, obviously.
Hmm.
But in the meantime, I can we still don't have it, and we still don't even have it prioritized yet.
Yeah, but it will be big when it's there.
Yeah.
I'm sure about this. I think this could be for you, Carol, or Andy, but I think Carol, I would like to answer this one. Any specific dynamics of this community?
I think this is an interesting community because it's a mixed community. So most of the time, especially for our niche communities, are you really focused on one type of background and one type of knowledge or one type of roles in general? Here we want this uh, opposite in a way. These two sides of the more designer part, the more developer parts being together. That's one of the reasons we are doing Pempat is to bring these two different groups together and communicate better. So this community is also about that. Is about bringing this together. Uh, as Pablo already talked in his post, it's not about the commercial community that we just expand the community there, but also bringing together with our team. So it's also about that. It's not just committed there and we just look whatever they're doing and we are here. No, we are part of the team. In the team, in the community is a part of the team, and the community is part of the. So we are together. Sorry, I got to mess. But yeah, we are. It's about getting together, different roles, different things. Not we're not thinking of niche. We don't want niche. We want collaboration
Mhm.
and togetherness.
I think for
Uh,
that, awesome. Go ahead,
so
Eva.
I will add that as a open source product, we want to break that barrier that we are the product and you are the community, you are the client. So we want to break that bar in our community. We want you to create the Pempot with us. We want you to give us your contributions, and I think that dynamic is very important in this community, and not in others like uh, product that is not open source.
I think we might learn something. We will learn something from the Blender community or Godot. Jan Dietrich was referring to those, like they are like hybrid communities, right?
Hmm.
So I think we'll see how it goes, Jamila. But I think we'll probably see conversations trying to be more easy to understand, like post more trying to be more like understandable and accessible, because the public is not single colored, right? It's just not your typical. So I think we should see different type of writing or explaining or showing, hopefully. Okay, so more questions. Is a desktop app in the near future plans? Wow, I'll go with this one. Glad that you asked, Web Developer 31. Actually, there's a thread, a quite recent one. I think I actually replied to that one today. So you'll see that on the community space. Like if you go to latest, you probably see that on the top 3. I think this is related to the offline mode. Uh, you might not have seen this in that way, but when we talk about desktop app, typically it's because of the offline mode. So we don't see much of a challenge in general in encapsulating the whole PenPod client server product into some Electron-based desktop app, right? Thing. We've done that in the past, so we're aware of that, and what brings. Um, what is that going to sort out? What are the use cases we have to see? Because a desktop app typically is going to be there for solo experience, like you go solo there, right? Desktop app just for me. And PenPod has been conceived for teams. So the desktop app is not entirely aligned with all the cool stuff around teams. So we could deploy a desktop app and encourage a use case that is not so key to us, because we want to bring developers and designers together. And at the same time, it is very interesting to have that. So it is in the near future plans, right, Andy? I mean, we've discussed this, and it's not a priority, but we know it's coming. Some way or another, this will eventually. Actually, this could be a great contribution from the community, because the technology is out there. It just needs someone to just package this, perhaps using Electron or the wrapper around that.
Yeah, agree. This is in fact one of the most repeated requests to us. Yeah, well, we try to understand what is underneath this request, because sometimes when someone is asking for a desktop app, is really asking for offline mode, and sometimes another person is asking for a desktop app too, but instead it's not asking for an offline mode, but for a native feeling. A place where to use the tool without shortcuts being interfered by the browsers, for instance. So there are different needs behind this question, and we know that some of the needs can be covered in a short time, and some of the other needs needs further consideration, and will be will be addressed maybe in long term, maybe, or maybe not so long, but we will see. Yeah, it's a complex subject for us.
So I would love to have your input, Web Developer 31 on the community. Just look for that thread. Actually, we had one liner as a request. That's already expanded. It was great to see the use case. You'll see different scenarios. You can go there, join, and the conversation, and tell us your use case. Perhaps it's already covered, and you can just +1 any of that, or you may come from a different perspective, and so enrich the conversation in that aspect. All right. I think we have time for one more question. I think. Let's see if there's any other one. We'll see. No, I think this is it. I think it's great timing. 50 minutes. I think we covered what to expect. Why we launched this, what to expect, the how we receive feedback and we process that, and how we this conversation is going to be very functional, and also things about the community itself and the dynamics. We plan to do this. I don't know. I wouldn't say monthly, but on a regular basis, we should have come here, perhaps highlight some of the conversations from the past couple of months or month, perhaps, if there's a ton of content, which would be great. I mean, and discuss that online, perhaps even with the people that outside the core team, contributed, and have a synced conversation. One thing is to have an async conversation, which is great to have your thought expressed, but sometimes having just chatting face to face yields so much power. So I'm very excited that we could have that at some point, and then have this mixed hybrid async sync communities experience. We have one last question before we say bye bye. Victor Crespo, how a
And I
great
love
message.
he also put in the community. So he went to community, he posted the same question, so we also gonna answer there later.
I think this is perhaps for Andy.
Yeah, maybe. I think you can already do that at Penpot. It's the Alt key and resize the shape. If it's not working, might be a bug, and you might find the bug, which is not good news, but it's good to know it. So yeah, we will reply at the community as well.
We will check
so
it. Yeah.
everyone can see the answer there.
Yeah. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you, Victor.
I hope you didn't find a bug. I hope you just.
I hope don't.
There was we actually, with the latest release, we had this shortcuts panel. So quick access to anything that's keyboard accessible, which is a ton, because Designer's Tool, that's what you have. So you can search that, resize, and see the options there. All right, so thank you very much, Eva. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much, Carol. It has been fantastic. Thank you, everyone who attended the live event. We enjoyed this a lot. We're off to some nice ice cream, I think. I need some ice cream. Yeah, we love you all, and see you next time. Happy summer or winter, depending on your hemisphere. But happy whatever you have. Enjoy the rest of the day. See you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.